big history in music, interesting jobs that you've had in the past.
Very similar glasses off, it's kind of rude, I think. But,
yeah, well, you did say you didn't want to deny the viewers your beautiful eyes.
I've been told I've got beautiful eyes, so yeah. Anyway.
So we had a chat about it. How long ago were it? About 6 months ago. We've kept it up to date on social media and just said a quick hello every now and again, haven't we?
Yeah.
I started this Reyt Good Music magazine thing up. You came to me with an idea of a new style of writing that you're working on at the minute. We've started a new page on the website called Editorials, and it's trying to get like loads of different people's views out on there. And we've started. Well, Laurence started a thing called Punk Couture. I'm not going to do it justice using my words. Talk the people through about what it is, mate.
So it's kind of part beatnik, part gonzo writing, part junkie style writing.
So what's gonzo writing?
So gonzo writing, there's a guy people probably know called Hunter S. Thompson who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, okay.
He wrote a book called Hell's Angels, which is the one that started gonzo writing.
Yeah.
Where as a journalist he would engulf himself in it, so he would join the Hell's Angels to write about the Hell's Angels, and he went riding with them. Interesting book. He witnessed a lot of rapes and stuff, but like he was in the Hell's Angels, got accepted and they could write about it. So it's just an embracing of a lot of dead techniques, because I had an agent, a very big agency in London, industry agency. I left them towards the end of December because I wanted to embrace these styles that I do, and like I said, I was...
Were they letting you do that?
Not really. Yeah, so it's interesting. I'll give you a bit of... I'll give you... I'll be timed on this? I don't know how it works. You can cut it out anyway if it's crap. But basically, I submitted a book I wrote to this agency in London, a very big agency, and I expected nothing to hear back. With the agencies with writing, normally they'll read the first page, you'll be on a slush pile, and you'll hear back in 3 months saying thank you but no thanks. That's how it works. They came back to me saying, we really like what you've done, very interesting. Would you like to join this creative course we do? And I said, well, how much is it? And then, well, normally it's about $3,000, but we won't charge you. It's 15 people, it's very selective. 15 people out of like 20,000, you've got space. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And it was like 2 nights a week after work, 6 till 9 in the boardroom, 14 others and me. Janet Ellis
in
was
a boardroom. Oh, Janet,
Sophie Bexter's mum. She was in there. So you know, some, I won't say high caliber because I didn't make many of what they did, but I don't work well with other people. That's the thing. So I was in this boardroom, you know, twice a week, 6 to 9 after work. You submit your stuff and you hear back, and there was like writers giving you advice, and I hated it because they would come to you and they say, this is how you create atmosphere. And I was like, this is bullshit, because how you create atmosphere is completely up to the writers, their voice. There's an infinite way to do anything when you're writing. And they're like, no, it's about product. You know, you've got to get published. To get published, this is how you have to do it. On page 3, you have to have what's known as a crunch. And I was like, what the hell's a crunch? So, well, that's like the reveal of what the book's about. And I was like, that's bullshit. Because sometimes you want to be vague, and that's the whole technique. And they're like, well, you've got to have a twist by the middle. You didn't have to have. Why do you have to have a twist? That's what people expect now in books. And it's all about like who's it aimed at, and it's all products. And I hated it. And I was the opposite, and I wanted to express with techniques and experiment with ideas and manipulate the reading experience and do this and that. And that's why they brought me in. That's why I was brought in. So I went back and forth with them afterwards, after the whole course, because they were interested in the stuff I was doing, but they kept changing it. So that's when I left anyway, because I wanted to just do my own thing. So I contacted you. Originally I was going to do some articles, and I was like, you know, will you let me do this thing? So I'm a big fan of Charles Bukowski, Jack Kerouac, real writers, William Burroughs, from the 60s, 70s. I actually went on a bit of a pilgrimage recently to San Francisco to see the beatnik movement and the bars that are still there. The styles are dead, they're not used anymore, because you can't really use these styles when you're writing about vampires or you know, swordsmen in the medieval times, or Harry Potter or whatever. And I actually think writing's a dead art form now. I think it's died. Because
when we get a lot of external writers that write for the magazine, and a lot of them all of them are voluntary, and I would get a little bit frustrated when I weren't getting as much information through. But you made a good point to me, is that writing, it's not an easy thing to do, it's a stressful thing, and it's hard to do it consistently and to enjoy it. it takes a certain discipline.
Definitely, to be a good writer in any format, music, narrative, prose, stand-up, any kind, even art, like visual writing, you have to really give yourself to it. Like, you've got to really let your personal things go. Like, you've got to put your heart and soul, because that's when your voice comes into it. It's very hard. It's one of these, like, Peter Kay is so popular because it's very personal stuff. He writes, even though it's comedy, you know, he writes about his own stuff. And any writers, like the Junkie writers, are very personal. The Beaten is very personal. So to be a good writer, you've got to really be able to get in tune with yourself and not be ashamed of it. But even just to sit down and write, it's time consuming. And it's difficult, and you have to have a process. And I've built my process over many years for different types of things, from editing, from writing the prose puncture for you. It's different styles. I have different ways of doing it. It's very hard, and then to write to a deadline is even harder. And to put quality out. You know, I don't think I've hit quality every time puncture, but I think we're hitting more than we're not.
Well, you mentioned earlier manipulating the reader, and one of my favourite ones that you've done on Puncture on the website, just click on editorials, it's all on there, guys, is the May 22 one that you did. That one, for some reason, that one just, I don't know, it just affected me a little bit.
Yeah, you know? Actually, that one went a little bit viral. I got about 30,000. It went on some website for 30,000, because, I mean, I don't believe in talking about what things mean. But May 22nd, it's the date of the Manchester bombing at the Ariana Grande thing. And I actually wrestled with doing something about it, not because it can feel like capitalising on an event. You don't want to do that. But I wrote this thing, and I swear to God, man, I put so much effort into techniques on that. There was so many techniques going on in that very short piece. I can't tell you and genuinely the sweat that was coming out of me. It was really, really hard. And I had so many comments from people on Instagram, on Facebook, and they were saying, similar to you, they didn't know why. You can't tell it's about Manchester, you can't tell that. But they said it's just something about it. And I genuinely believe it's techniques, because there's these infinite loops in it, and there's purposeful vagueness in it. It's about manipulating the schema is the way you process information. So I've practiced ways I can manipulate that, the way you would process information that you've read. There's so much going on in that piece. I'm very proud of that piece, actually. It's I've got this exhibition coming out, and that's going to be like one of my pieces that, like, if it doesn't sell, I'm going to be very choosy about who I give it to. Like, I'll give it to a place. Maybe fucking power, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm very proud of that piece. And the manipulating of the reader is a very big thing. I do it in the books, because for me, a writer should manipulate the reading experience. That's the whole point. So it's something I practice with techniques, and puncture is something I do with trying to modernise these old techniques that I have a big belief in. I'll give you an example, actually. Like, people often say, like, to me, you're quite pretentious about writing, which I probably am, you know? But I believe there's a difference between a writer and a storyteller. Like, J.K. Rowling, to me, is a storyteller and an author, but she's not a writer. Anyone who says she's a writer doesn't know what writing is. You know, writing things like, you know, there's Voldemort or whatever. Jack Kerouac wrote a sentence, some people are so poor, all they have is money. Right? That resonates so much more than any authors that are currently
talking
published.
about wizards.
Well, and I'm not saying it's bad, you know, storytelling's fun. I'm not saying that she's a bad storyteller, but when, like, something like the Manchester things happen, these authors and published people, they go on Twitter and they say, my condolences are with the people. If it was the 60s or 70s, Bukowski, Kerouac, they'd be writing pieces, like I did about May 22nd, that tries to resonate and capture something that can either help or but, you know, like a piece of music, you can just, for no reason, you can understand, it just hooks you, it resonates with you, a bar, the whole thing, a lyric in it, whatever it might be, grabs you for a reason you don't know. That's what writing can do. And I don't believe modern writing does that. It's products to sell, you know, and you can look at, like, Harry Potter, and I'm not putting Harry Potter down, I don't mean to be doing that, but to me it's very easy stuff. It's just built on what's gone before. It's no different from Star Wars, to be honest with you.
That's why I wanted it on the magazine, and that's that's the main reason why the editorial page is there, for something different, a different experience to explore and find on the magazine, really, because it's not, I don't advertise it a lot for the reason that I just want people to stumble across it and find these cool little things that are on there. But
I really appreciate it, because you really supported it. And it's helped me, because I've got like 16,500 now following it on Facebook. Writing is a really hard thing to get out there. It's not like music, we can just listen to a song and you're in and you're out. You know, it's difficult to do that. And I appreciate you supporting it a lot.
Anytime, mate. So, Laurence Landau, it's been an absolute pleasure joining me on this 6th episode of the Reyt Good Music road trip. So, yeah, again, thanks again, guys. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Nice one. Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yeah, fucking sound, man.